Stop everything, right now. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, I need you to answer one question silently in your heart. Which country are you watching from? And what time is it there right now? Hold that thought. Remember it. Because whatever I am about to share will speak directly to you, exactly where you are, at this very hour. This is not a story. This is not entertainment. This is life or death, not of your body, but of your soul. Do you feel that quiet inside you? That stillness you've been ignoring for years? That silence is not emptiness. That silence is the voice you've been avoiding. And if you scroll past now, if you look away, life will repeat the lessons until it demands your attention. But if you stay, if you open your heart, if you truly listen, you will uncover truths that will change your life forever. You will see realities you've been running from. By the end of this video, you will understand why every struggle, every lonely moment, every silent second in your life has been guiding you here. So pause for a moment and feel it. Feel the quiet that surrounds you right now. It is alive, it is speaking, and only those who pay attention will hear what the silence has been saying all along. The heart speaks louder than words. Everything you feel, every quiet pull in your chest, every soft nudge guiding your steps, is not random. It is your heart speaking to you. Most people ignore it because the world is so loud. The news, the social media, the endless chatter, the pressure to keep up, they cover up this gentle voice. Yet the heart knows things the mind cannot. It understands truths before your thoughts can even catch up. This quiet voice is not emptiness. It is not weakness. It is the most intimate conversation you can ever have. It is your soul talking to you, showing you the way without words. Sometimes it feels like a gentle breeze guiding your choices, sometimes like a calm whisper in the middle of chaos, and sometimes like a still knowing deep inside that cannot be shaken by anything outside. When you begin to recognize this voice, everything changes. Decisions become clearer, paths become simpler, and the constant worry that clouds your mind begins to fade. You start trusting yourself in ways you never imagined. Life no longer feels like a battle you must fight with force. It becomes a journey you are guided through with quiet certainty. You start seeing that every step you take, even the small ones, carries meaning. Every choice has a reason. Every moment has a purpose. This inner voice is patient. It never shouts. It never forces. It waits for you to slow down enough to hear it. And when you finally listen, you begin to feel a peace that is deeper than understanding. You realize that the answers were inside you all along, that the guidance you were searching for outside was already in your heart. This is the voice that never leads you astray. This is the voice that will always bring you home. Transformation through listening. When you take the time to be still and truly listen, something inside you begins to change. It is not an instant change, and it does not happen in noise or in distraction. Real transformation begins in quiet, when your mind stops rushing and your heart opens. You begin to notice things you never saw before. You begin to understand yourself in ways you never imagined. Listening becomes more than just hearing words or advice. It becomes a way of living, a way of knowing, a way of connecting to the deeper truth inside you. At first, it may feel strange. You may feel restless or uncomfortable. The world has trained you to always act, to always move, to always fill the silence with sound. But if you can stay in that quiet place for even a little while, your soul will begin to speak. You may notice thoughts and feelings rising that you ignored before. You may realize patterns in your life, moments when you chose the wrong path, or times when your own fears held you back. Listening allows these truths to surface gently, without judgment, without pressure. As you listen more, you begin to see that life itself is trying to teach you. Every challenge, every difficulty, every moment of pain carries a hidden message. Listening carefully allows you to hear it. The world begins to feel less chaotic and more like a teacher guiding your steps. You begin to trust your intuition more, to recognize the small signs and nudges that point you toward the right direction. What once seemed random begins to make sense. The pieces of your life start to fit together in ways you never thought possible. This transformation is not only about understanding life, but also about understanding yourself. You see your fears, your doubts, and your insecurities more clearly, and you learn to face them with calm and courage. You notice your own strengths, your capacity for patience, your ability to forgive and to love. The act of listening turns the chaos inside you into clarity. It turns confusion into wisdom. It turns uncertainty into trust. Over time, the quiet becomes a companion. It becomes a guide that never fails. You learn that answers are not always found in rushing or forcing, but in allowing, in observing, in being present. Life begins to flow more naturally. Your steps feel lighter, your choices feel wiser, and your heart feels calmer. The transformation is subtle at first, like a sunrise that slowly lights the world, but eventually it becomes undeniable. You become someone who can face life with strength, patience, and deep inner peace. Listening is not just a skill, it is a way of being. It is the doorway through which the soul awakens. And once you step through, nothing in the world can make you feel lost again, for you have learned to hear the guidance that has always been within you. Surrender through stillness. True surrender is not giving up. It is not weakness, and it is not passivity. It is a choice to let go of the constant need to control, to plan, and to fight against what is. Life teaches us that we cannot force every outcome. We cannot make every moment bend to our will. Yet the heart, when it learns to surrender, discovers a strength far greater than any control we try to hold. Stillness becomes the doorway to this strength. When you allow yourself to be still, when you stop resisting what comes your way, you begin to understand the subtle rhythms of life. You notice that everything has its own timing, its own flow. The problems you thought were unbearable, the challenges you feared, begin to settle into perspective. They do not disappear, but in stillness you see them clearly, without the noise of fear or anger clouding your mind. Surrender through stillness is like learning to float in water. At first, you struggle, you panic, you fight the current. But when you stop resisting and allow yourself to be carried, you realize that the water is not your enemy. It supports you. It guides you. It teaches you that true power is not in pushing against the world, but in aligning yourself with the flow of life. In stillness, your heart speaks more clearly than ever. You feel what is real and what is false. You understand the difference between what truly matters and what merely distracts you. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every moment of quiet becomes an opportunity to connect deeply with the truth that has always been inside you. The soul learns that surrender does not mean giving away your life. It means receiving it fully, trusting it, and allowing the divine wisdom to guide every step. Through stillness, fear begins to lose its grip. Anxiety softens. The restless thoughts that kept you awake at night begin to quiet. You notice that even in the most chaotic moments, there is a calm that is untouched by circumstance. That calm is your true home. It is the voice of wisdom speaking through silence. It is the inner presence that never abandons you, even when the world feels unsteady. Surrender is not something you force. It is something you choose again and again, in each moment, in each breath. It is the willingness to let life teach you, to let your experiences shape you, and to accept that not everything needs your control. When you surrender in stillness, you are no longer resisting the flow of life. Instead, you are moving with it, learning from it, and growing stronger with every experience. In this state, you begin to notice miracles in the smallest details, the way sunlight falls through a window, the softness of a gentle breeze, the rhythm of your own heartbeat. These are signs, reminders that even when you are still, life is alive, moving, guiding you forward. And you learn that surrender is not giving up on life. It is finally giving life the space to guide you toward the peace, clarity, and fulfillment you have been seeking all along. Stillness and surrender are not a one-time lesson, they are a lifelong practice. The more you embrace them, the more you realize that true power is quiet. True courage is calm. True wisdom speaks in silence, and it waits patiently for you to listen. When you surrender through stillness, you are not losing anything, you are gaining everything your heart has ever longed for. The sound of silence. The world is always talking, always moving, always pulling at your attention. There is noise everywhere on the streets, in our homes, in our minds. Every moment seems to demand your action, your reaction, your voice. And yet, the most important messages in life do not come in noise. They do not come in shouting, in argument, or in clamor. The most profound guidance, the most transformative wisdom comes in silence. Silence is not empty, it is full of answers you have been searching for, full of clarity, full of presence. When you stop filling every moment with sound, every space with distraction, you begin to notice what was always there. You begin to hear the subtle language of your soul, the quiet nudges that tell you when to step forward, when to wait, when to trust. The sound of silence is not something you hear with your ears, it is something you feel in your chest, in your mind, in your very being. At first, silence can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like boredom or fear or loneliness. You may feel restless, as if you are missing something, as if life is passing you by. But that is only the surface. If you can remain in the quiet, if you can allow yourself to simply be, you discover a vast world inside yourself. A world of understanding, of insight, of peace, of connection that noise can never reach. When you truly listen to silence, you notice patterns in your life. You see choices you have been making unconsciously. You see habits that hold you back and thoughts that cloud your judgment. You begin to understand yourself and the people around you in a deeper, more compassionate way. You start to see that life is not just happening to you, it is speaking to you. And the voice of life, when you are quiet enough to hear it, is gentle, patient, and always guiding. Silence teaches you presence. It teaches you to be aware of every breath, every heartbeat, every sensation in the moment. It teaches you that life is not something to rush through, but something to feel, to experience, to witness. The more you listen, the more you realize that even in chaos there is order. Even in uncertainty there is guidance. Even in darkness there is light. Through silence, the heart begins to see clearly. The mind begins to settle. The soul begins to awaken. You discover that many of your fears, your anxieties, your regrets, and your worries existed only in noise. When the noise fades, they lose their power. In silence, you find the answers you were desperately seeking outside. In silence, you find strength, courage, and clarity that no one can give you and no one can take away. The sound of silence is like a mirror for your soul. It reflects the truth you have been avoiding. It shows you your potential, your purpose, your path. It allows you to feel deeply, to understand profoundly, and to act wisely. And the more you embrace it, the more you realize that the voice of life has never stopped speaking. You were simply too busy listening to everything else. When you learn to hear the sound of silence, everything changes. Decisions become easier, worries become lighter, and life feels less like a struggle and more like a journey guided by a gentle, invisible hand. Silence is not empty, it is alive. It is full of answers, full of guidance, full of love. It is the voice of life itself, speaking directly to your heart, waiting patiently for you to listen. Signs in the silence. When you learn to be still and truly listen, the world begins to speak in ways you never noticed before. At first, these messages are subtle, almost invisible. A leaf falling in a strange way, the sudden feeling to take a different path, a thought that seems to appear out of nowhere, all of these are signs. The universe is constantly communicating with you, but in your noise, in your rush, in your constant distraction, you never hear it. Silence opens your ears, not to sound, but to meaning. Signs appear everywhere when you are quiet enough to see them. The gentle flicker of light through a window, the rhythm of the rain against the roof, the patterns of coincidences in your life, they are all speaking to you. They are reminders that life is not random, that there is guidance in every moment, and that the same force that created you is also guiding you every step of the way. The more you pay attention, the more obvious these signs become, and the more connected you feel to the flow of life itself. Sometimes a sign is clear. It is a thought that changes everything, a moment of clarity that shows you the right choice. Other times signs are quiet, almost invisible, and you have to look carefully to notice them. But each sign is meant for you, and when you begin to recognize them, you begin to trust yourself and trust life. You realize that you are never alone, you are never without guidance. Everything around you, every experience, is a teacher, and the universe is speaking constantly through silence. Learning to see these signs requires patience. It requires stopping the endless talking in your mind. It requires believing that even when things feel chaotic or uncertain, there is a reason, a pattern, a hidden hand guiding you. The more you notice, the more your life starts to unfold in ways that feel effortless. Choices that once felt overwhelming become clear. Problems that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve naturally. You start to see that the answers you were seeking outside of yourself were already being shown to you all along. Signs in the silence teach you to be present. They teach you to observe without judgment, to pay attention without forcing. They show you that life is speaking, even in moments when you feel nothing is happening. You start to see that every detail has a purpose, every event carries a lesson, and every encounter holds meaning. The more you listen, the more you recognize that your own inner guidance is part of this web of signs, working alongside the universe to lead you toward clarity and peace. The beauty of these signs is that they are gentle. They never demand, they never punish, they simply appear for those who are ready to see them. They are like whispers from life itself, guiding you without pressure, showing you without forcing, revealing without demanding. And when you start to notice them, you begin to trust more. You stop second-guessing, stop fearing, and start moving through life with confidence. You begin to realize that the silence around you was never empty. It was full of guidance, full of wisdom, full of love. When you embrace the signs in the silence, your perspective on life changes completely. You understand that nothing happens by accident. You see that even the smallest moment has meaning. You begin to live with intention, paying attention, observing deeply, and allowing yourself to be guided by something far greater than your mind. And slowly, quietly, without you even realizing it, your life transforms. You start walking the path that has always been meant for you, and every step is accompanied by clarity, purpose, and a deep sense of peace. The gift of solitude. Solitude is often feared. Most people avoid it because it feels like loneliness, like emptiness, like being left behind. But solitude is not punishment. It is a gift, a hidden treasure waiting for those willing to embrace it. When you allow yourself to be alone, not out of obligation, but with openness and presence, the world begins to unfold in a new way. In that quiet space, your soul starts to speak clearly, without the interference of others' voices, without the clutter of distractions, without the demands of constant activity. In solitude, you learn to listen to yourself for the first time. You hear the thoughts that were always there but buried beneath noise. You notice the feelings that you ignored because you were too busy pleasing, too busy performing, too busy running. You meet your own heart, and it is alive with wisdom. You begin to recognize your desires, your fears, your strengths, and your weaknesses. In this quiet, you understand who you truly are, beyond all the masks and roles you play in the world. Solitude allows you to see life clearly. The chaos, the confusion, the constant demands, they fade in the background. Your vision sharpens. You begin to notice details that you missed before, the way the sunlight moves across the floor, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the subtle shifts in your feelings. These small things, often ignored, begin to feel sacred. You realize that life has been speaking to you all along, and now, in this silence, you are finally able to hear it. In solitude, you also learn patience and trust. When you are alone, you are faced with yourself fully. There is no one to blame, no one to hide behind, no one to distract you from your own growth. At first, this can feel uncomfortable, even painful. You may feel the weight of your fears, the heaviness of past regrets, the uncertainty of the future. But if you stay with it, if you let yourself experience it fully, you discover that solitude is not a burden, it is a teacher. It shows you that you are stronger than you realized, that your heart is resilient, and that your soul has the ability to hold itself with love and care. The beauty of solitude is that it brings freedom. You are free to think, free to feel, free to dream, free to listen. Without the constant noise of the outside world, you are able to hear the quiet whispers of life guiding you. You begin to understand that being alone is not being abandoned. You are never truly alone because life, in all its wisdom, is speaking to you. And when you embrace solitude fully, you begin to experience a deep connection with yourself, with your purpose, and with the unseen presence that has always been guiding you. In solitude, you begin to create a space where clarity and peace can grow. Your mind becomes calmer, your heart becomes lighter, and your spirit feels alive. You start to notice the small miracles around you, the blessings that are always present but often overlooked. You understand that the answers to your questions were never far away. They were simply waiting for you to slow down, to stop running, and to be still enough to receive them. The gift of solitude is not just about being alone. It is about being fully present with yourself. It is about learning to trust, to listen, to understand, and to grow. It is in this sacred space that transformation occurs. You become someone who can face the world with confidence and clarity, someone who no longer needs constant approval or distraction, someone who knows that true peace and guidance come from within. Solitude is the soil in which the seeds of wisdom grow. The more you embrace it, the more you learn to trust the guidance of life. The more you embrace it, the more you understand that being alone is not weakness, it is strength. It is in solitude that you find yourself, and in finding yourself, you find the path that was always meant for you. Inner silence as protection. The world is loud, chaotic, and often overwhelming. Every day it demands something from you, your attention, your energy, your emotions. It throws problems, worries, and distractions in every direction, leaving little space to breathe. Most people live their entire lives in this noise, unaware that there is a quiet sanctuary within them. This inner silence is not just peace, it is protection. It is a shield that cannot be broken by circumstances, by fear, or by the chaos of the outside world. When you learn to find that silence within yourself, you begin to understand something profound. No one can touch your calm unless you allow them to. The storms of life may rage outside, but inside there is a space untouched by fear, anger, or doubt. In this quiet, you are safe, you are grounded, you are whole. The power of silence lies in its ability to give you clarity in the middle of confusion, strength in the middle of weakness, and courage in the middle of fear. The more you cultivate this inner stillness, the more you notice how much it protects you. Thoughts that once overwhelmed you begin to lose their hold. Emotions that once ruled your days begin to soften. When criticism, conflict, or chaos arises, you are no longer pulled into reaction. You respond from a place of calm, from a place of understanding, from a place of presence. Silence becomes your shield, your armor, your refuge. This protection is subtle but powerful. It does not shout or force. It quietly holds you steady while the world spins around you. It allows you to see situations clearly without panic. It allows you to make decisions without fear. It allows you to feel without being consumed. Life may challenge you, but in the stillness of your heart, you find safety that no one can take away. The world tries to teach you that strength comes from noise, from action, from pushing and controlling. But true strength, the kind that lasts, comes from quiet, from presence, from inner awareness. When your mind is calm, your heart is still, and your soul is attentive, you begin to notice patterns, guidance, and truth that others cannot see. You become like a tree that stands firm in the storm, bending when necessary, but never breaking, because its roots are deep in the quiet earth of its own inner world. Inner silence also allows you to protect what is most valuable: your peace, your focus, your sense of self. In the world, people may try to pull you into anger, fear, or distraction. They may try to disturb your balance. But if you have cultivated silence, you no longer respond to every provocation. You no longer allow external chaos to dictate your inner state. You become like a sanctuary walking in the midst of noise, untouchable and serene. The more you practice this inner quiet, the more you realize that life itself becomes less frightening. Challenges do not seem as threatening, difficulties do not seem as heavy, and confusion does not seem as overwhelming. Your inner silence teaches you to trust that life is guiding you, even when you cannot see the path ahead. You understand that what matters most, the clarity, the wisdom, the peace, comes from within, and nothing outside can take it from you. This silence is not isolation, it is connection. It is your connection to your own wisdom, your own strength, and your own heart. It is your connection to the unseen guidance that is always present. In silence, you discover a power that cannot be challenged, a calm that cannot be shaken, a peace that cannot be disturbed. You learn that the greatest protection in life is not walls or weapons or control over circumstances. It is the stillness within your own heart. When you carry this silence with you, life no longer feels like a battle. You move through it with confidence, clarity, and grace. You begin to notice that the same situations that once caused fear or stress now pass like clouds in the sky. You are unaffected because your inner sanctuary is unshakable. You have found your refuge. You have found your shield, and in this silence, you are truly free. Gratitude and presence. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in life, yet it is often overlooked. Most people think of it as something they practice only when life is easy or when they achieve something. But true gratitude is far deeper than that. It is a way of seeing, a way of being, a way of living in which every moment, every breath, every heartbeat becomes a reason to give thanks. It begins when you stop chasing, stop demanding, and start noticing the blessings that have always been around you. When you are fully present, gratitude flows naturally. You begin to see the beauty that is often ignored: the sunlight falling softly across a room, the sound of the wind through the trees, the rhythm of your own breathing, the gentle pulse of life itself. These small, simple things, which we usually take for granted, begin to shine with meaning. You realize that life itself is a gift, not just the achievements, possessions, or moments you chase. Every day, every experience is full of messages, guidance, and lessons meant for your growth. And when you notice them, your heart overflows with thankfulness. Presence and gratitude are inseparable. You cannot truly feel gratitude without being present. When your mind is focused on the past, or when it worries about the future, it misses the miracle of the moment. The simple act of being fully aware of right now, of noticing what is, of feeling what is awakens a deep appreciation for life itself. In presence, even difficulties become blessings, challenges reveal lessons. Pain becomes a teacher. Every experience, pleasant or difficult, becomes a source of insight, understanding, and growth. When you live with this awareness, you begin to notice a subtle shift. Your perspective changes. Problems that once seemed overwhelming shrink. Moments that once felt empty now feel rich and full. You realize that the peace you have been searching for is not outside. It is here, in this moment, in your awareness, in your gratitude for simply being alive. Life begins to feel less like a series of struggles and more like a sacred journey, guided by forces far greater than yourself. Gratitude and presence teach humility. They remind you that nothing in life is guaranteed and that everything you have is temporary. When you truly appreciate what is here right now, you are no longer caught in endless comparison, desire, or dissatisfaction. You stop measuring your worth by what you lack and begin to feel the fullness of what you already have. You start to notice how much is already perfect, already complete, already enough. The power of gratitude is transformative. It softens the heart, calms the mind, and awakens the soul. When you live with gratitude and presence, your inner world becomes a sanctuary. You begin to act with kindness, patience, and love because you feel connected to everything around you. You start seeing the unseen threads that connect you to the people, the events, and the moments in your life. You feel the presence of life itself moving through you, guiding you, supporting you. Even the smallest moments can become extraordinary when viewed with awareness and gratitude. The warmth of a cup of tea, the smile of a stranger, the comfort of a familiar place, these become reminders that life is abundant, even when it does not feel that way. You learn to see that even difficulties are blessings in disguise. They teach patience, resilience, and understanding. They deepen your appreciation for what is truly valuable. When you live in gratitude and presence, life no longer feels chaotic or meaningless. Every experience, every encounter, every breath is sacred. Your heart becomes attuned to the flow of life. Your mind becomes calm, clear, and wise. Your soul becomes open, peaceful, and receptive. You realize that everything you need has always been within you, and the world itself becomes a mirror reflecting the beauty, love, and guidance that has always been around you. Ultimately, gratitude and presence are the keys to a life of peace and fulfillment. They allow you to live fully, love deeply, and experience the wonder of each moment. They reveal that the divine is not only in grand miracles, but in the small, quiet details of life that are always here, always present, always waiting for you to notice. When you cultivate these qualities, your life transforms. You walk through the world with a light heart, a calm mind, and a soul that knows it is never alone. Take a deep breath. Feel the quiet inside you now. That same silence that spoke to you at the start, it has never left. It has been guiding you, shaping you, protecting you, and teaching you all along, even when you didn't realize it. Every lesson, every word, every reflection you've heard in this journey has been for you and only for you. Now you understand. The struggles, the doubts, The moments when life felt heavy, lonely, or confusing, they were never against you. They were preparing you. They were whispering in silence, waiting for you to finally listen. And because you stayed, because you opened your heart, because you paid attention, you have received the guidance that will change your life forever. Your heart has spoken. Your soul has awakened. And now, you are ready to walk your path with clarity, strength, and purpose. Life will still bring challenges, but you have learned the secret that few ever find. The power, the protection, the guidance, and the peace you seek are already inside you. They have always been there, quietly waiting for you to recognize them. Take one more deep breath and feel it. Let the lessons you've heard sink in. Carry them with you, not just in your mind, but in your heart. Let silence become your sanctuary, solitude your teacher, presence your guide, and gratitude your way of living. And remember this, every moment, every heartbeat, every quiet breath is an opportunity to hear what your life is whispering to you. Never ignore it again. The silence is speaking. The guidance is here. The life you were waiting for is already beginning. You stayed, you listened, you awakened, and from this moment on, nothing will ever feel the same again.